Welcome to the Forever and Ever podcast. I'm your host, Homer Hargrove, and today we're going to be talking about some physical needs, emotional reactions, and how your body can impact your relationship. I think that it's something simple, but widely overlooked in relationships, and that is this connection between our physical states and our emotional reactions. Have you ever gotten into this random argument with your spouse only to realize that you were just maybe tired, or maybe you were hungry, or maybe you're even just stressed out by something totally unrelated? Maybe it was kids, maybe it was work, but it happens all the time. And the problem is, if we're not paying attention to how our physical needs affect our emotions, we'll end up starting fights, misreading our partner, or even feeling disconnected and not even ever really knowing why. So today we're going to break down how things like hunger, exhaustion, stress, and even physical health play a huge role in the emotional climate of our relationships, and how to be more aware of it because it causes these unnecessary conflicts. So let's start off by talking about how our physical state equals our emotional response. So this is the idea that your body and your emotions are connected. When you're well rested, hydrated, fed, emotionally regulated, you're more likely to be patient, understanding, and present. But if you're running only on 3 hours of sleep, so maybe you skipped lunch and you just got out of this chaotic day from work, even the smallest thing that your partner says might push you over the edge. That's not just personality issues, it's your nervous system reacting to this physical imbalance. So before we start blaming everything on emotional issues or relationship problems or people's personalities, we have to ask ourselves, is my body trying to tell me something? Just as like extra credit piece, notice that once with big life changes, like say, I don't know, having a baby, that you will naturally have all these physical changes in your body, regardless if you're the mom or the dad. And you're going to be just like, let's just focus on sleep alone. Just sleep. You're talking about being, usually you're maybe well rested. Say you're even one of those people that get that full 8 hours of sleep. And all of a sudden, you go from regular 8 hours of sleep undisturbed to now maybe 5 hours of sleep interrupted every hour. You're gonna feel like a POW, dude. Like think about how sleep deprivation is literally a form of torture. And so take that into account, and all of a sudden you're feeling more irritated with your partner. All of a sudden y'all are getting into more fights. You feel like they have these issues. Perhaps y'all are both just tired and you're taking it out on each other. And it's not intentional. It's just kind of like this reaction. And really, to be honest with you, I think about like 90% of the marriage counseling that my wife and I do for others is generally within the first year of having a baby. And it's mostly because of all these little things that we're normally patient for or understanding for. We don't read too much into it. All that's thrown out of the window because we have not slept in 3 days. It just changes everything. So if you could just consider this, it really makes these moments where our physical needs are simply shouting louder than our emotional awareness. And we could go down the line. Maybe it's not sleep, maybe it's hunger. The other day, me and Lauren, we had it wasn't like a fight or a misunderstanding even. It was just like this little small moment, misinterpretation. And Lauren looked back at me and said, "Are you hungry? Do you need me to make you something to eat?" And she was saying it jokingly. It helped me to realize, like, hey, maybe I'm overreacting because I just haven't eaten yet. And again, because I can be aware of my physical state, I don't have to take that personal and be like, maybe I am hungry. Maybe I'll feel better after a meal. And remember that my goal is not to prove that I'm right, but my goal is to be at peace with my spouse. So I want to give you a simple little acronym, and maybe it will sound silly, right? It's going to sound silly, but it's a super practical tool that you can use for yourself. And that is the idea of, oh, we're about to get into a fight. Halt. Halt. That means stop, right? HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And whenever you feel emotionally off, or your partner seems maybe irritable or withdrawn, stop and ask yourself, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Are they hungry? Are they angry? Are they lonely? Are they tired? And that doesn't mean that we use this as a weapon to attack them. Like, are you just tired? Is that why you're acting like this? No, we can chill out and just look at these four states and how they can drastically impact our ability to communicate clearly and love well. Sometimes the fix isn't a 2-hour conversation. Sometimes the fix is literally a sandwich. Sometimes the fix is literally a nap. Sometimes the fix is even just having sex. It's like these simple things can make our relationships feel so much smoother when we realize what it is that we actually need. I mean, think about times like, have you ever been mad at your spouse, fell asleep, took a nap, and in the morning you're like, why are we even fighting? Why are we even mad? And you realize that, man, maybe I was just tired. That's what we're talking about today. So let's think about this idea of how to communicate your physical state. Maybe a lot of unnecessary conflicts come from pushing through these physical states when we should maybe be taking a pause. If you're hungry or tired, you don't need to power through a deep talk. Instead, you can say, hey, I really want to talk about this with you, but can we take a break? I'm not my best right now. I think I need to eat first before we talk. I think I just need to take a nap. And look, if you have young kids, the idea of a nap might be just out of the picture. But even just communicating that, like, I think that we're both just tired. I think that if it is just about being hungry, maybe you went all day, you skipped lunch, maybe you just say, hey, I think I'm feeling hangry right now, and I'll respond better after dinner, after I eat. And if your partner is the one that's feeling distant, frustrated, maybe gently asking like, hey, are you feeling okay? Do you feel tired? Is anything stressing you out? And maybe again, we're not talking about in this accusing form. We're talking about in a form that's caring, trying to open this door for understanding instead of defensiveness. So here's something that we often don't say enough, and that is taking care of your body is also taking care of your relationship. Your physical health is a form of relational care. Getting sleep, staying hydrated, eating well, getting movement in, all of these things affect your mood, your energy, your patience, and your ability to show up with love. I mean, again, just the idea of being hydrated, it will really affect everything else within the way that you react emotionally. So if your phone battery is at 2%, you're not going to have all these different apps running, right? In the same way, if your body is so depleted, your emotional capacity is also lower. If you don't want to go on, if you don't even have the energy to work out or go on a walk or do any other work, do you think that you have the kind of energy to handle your emotions well? You can't pour into your partner when you're running on empty. So some big takeaways today is your physical state directly affects your emotional responses and your relationship. When you and your partner are short, irritable, disconnected, don't just assume that it's a heart issue, that they must not really love you. At first, check the basics. Are we hungry? Are we angry? Are we lonely? Are we tired? Do we need rest? Do we need food? Do we need to take a break? Do we need to have some sex? A little physical awareness can save a lot of emotional energy. And when you start being mindful of that, you'll find yourself so much less reactive and more present. So, something to try this week before having a serious conversation with your partner, check in with yourself using that halt, wait. Ask ourselves, are we hungry? Are we angry? Are we lonely and tired? Pause. Take care of that first and then come back to the conversation. And when you see your partner feeling off, instead of jumping to conclusions, ask if something physical might be going on. It's this small stuff, but it builds this emotional safety. It builds understanding and it builds grace in your relationship. But if we ignore the small stuff, all the opposite of that will happen. It won't make us feel emotionally safe. We're always going to feel misunderstood, and there's not going to be any grace in our relationship. So as as always, you can dive deeper into these topics within my book, Forever and Ever. That's where we pull all this content from. And so if you haven't ordered that book, you can order it either on my website, homerhargrove.com, or just order it from Amazon. And be sure to join the free Facebook group. But until next time, have a great life.